Hello. Today General Hospital will reveal in a move that left longtime fans stunned and emotionally disoriented, Jonathan Jackson's sudden departure from General Hospital has reignited a wave of disappointment, confusion, and growing frustration within the soap opera community. After nearly a decade away from the screen, Jackson made a dramatic return to Port Charles in August 2024, reprising the iconic role of Lucky Spencer, a beloved character whose presence had long been missed. His comeback had been heralded as a turning point, a potential renaissance for Lucky, who once carried some of the show's most emotionally compelling storylines. There was genuine excitement surrounding the prospect of integrating Lucky back into the narrative fabric of General Hospital, especially in the context of reuniting him with key figures such as his mother Laura Collins, his former flame Elizabeth Baldwin, and his son Aidan. Yet less than a year later, that glimmer of revival ended with a swift and unceremonious exit, leaving viewers bewildered and bereft of closure. The character's arc barely had time to unfold, and his reappearance now feels more like a mirage, an unfulfilled promise rather than a meaningful evolution. For loyal fans of the ABC soap, this isn't just about one actor's exit. Rather, it taps into a broader pattern that has increasingly defined General Hospital in recent years. Beloved legacy characters coming and going without warning, often leaving behind unresolved storylines and emotional voids. There is a palpable sense of disillusionment among viewers who have emotionally invested in these characters, only to see them written off or abandoned midstream. Jackson's departure is the latest in a string of high-profile exits that have eroded the audience's trust in the show's long-term vision. Lucky Spencer, whose story is deeply intertwined with the show's rich legacy, dating back to his relationship with Luke and Laura, arguably daytime television's most iconic couple, deserved more than a fleeting return followed by a silent retreat. His abrupt disappearance from the canvas has prompted fans to ask, was this truly the plan all along? Or was something deeper left unspoken? Shortly after the news broke, Jonathan Jackson addressed the matter publicly in an emotional and candid interview. Speaking with TV Insider, he revealed that the primary reason for his departure was the strain that long-distance commuting had placed on his personal life. Currently residing in Nashville, Tennessee, while General Hospital films in Los Angeles, California, Jackson explained that the physical and emotional toll of cross-country travel had become untenable. As a devoted husband and father of 3, Jackson had hoped he could manage the logistical burden and strike a delicate balance between his professional commitments and family responsibilities. He admitted to trying his best, praying for guidance, pushing through exhaustion, and clinging to the hope that things might somehow work themselves out. But reality proved too difficult. Despite his best intentions, Jackson reached a point where he realized that continuing under those conditions was not sustainable for him or his loved ones. More revealingly, Jackson also admitted that he never fully intended to return in a permanent capacity. His comeback in 2024 was not part of a long-term career decision, but rather an experiment, an emotional reconnection with a role that had once defined a pivotal chapter in his acting journey. That experiment, however noble, was ultimately brief. He said plainly that while the desire to reconnect with the show and its fans was sincere, the practical implications of doing so proved too overwhelming to ignore. "We tried," he reflected, "but we just couldn't make it work." These words, though honest, fell short of satisfying many within the fandom. Indeed, while some fans empathized with the personal challenges Jackson faced, others were far less forgiving. The online response was swift and, in some corners, brutally unforgiving. Across forums, comment sections, and fan groups, theories began to circulate suggesting that Jackson's explanation was merely a cover story, an evasive response that masked a deeper, more controversial truth. Was there backstage drama between Jackson and the producers? Did creative differences over Lucky's storyline lead to a premature departure? Or had Jackson grown disillusioned with the show's direction and the lack of depth afforded to his character? The absence of clear answers only fueled speculation. The fact that Lucky's return had been largely peripheral, featuring only in sporadic scenes with little emotional follow-through, made it all the more plausible, in some fans' eyes, that dissatisfaction had played a larger role than Jackson was willing to admit. Some of the backlash took a more personal turn, with fans directly messaging Jackson on social media, accusing him of hiding behind platitudes and demanding that he tell the real story. Rather than engage in the vitriol, Jackson chose a path of dignified silence. He did not lash out, nor did he elaborate further on his statements. True to his nature, he remained calm, respectful, and conflict-averse, adhering to a principle of harmony that has characterized much of his public persona over the years. However, in the court of public opinion, silence can often be interpreted as complicity or guilt. The more Jackson avoided addressing the rumors, the more entrenched those rumors became. Nonetheless, beyond the noise of accusation and speculation, there remains a significant segment of the fanbase that continues to respect Jonathan Jackson's decision. These fans understand that life outside of the spotlight can be demanding, and that even actors who seem larger than life must ultimately prioritize their health, family, and peace of mind. They recognize that not every departure is driven by scandal or sabotage, and that sometimes the most courageous thing an artist can do is walk away from something, even something deeply meaningful, when it no longer aligns with their values or life circumstances. For those supporters, Jackson's brief return was a gift in itself, a momentary reminder of the emotional richness he brought to the character of Lucky Spencer over the years. Still, questions linger. The manner in which Lucky was reintroduced, only to vanish again so quickly, leaves the impression of a missed opportunity. With Elizabeth rejecting Lucky's proposal in what became his exit storyline, viewers were robbed of a more profound exploration of their shared past, their family ties, and the enduring pain between them. Scenes with his mother, Laura, or his son, Aidan, could have provided moments of reflection, redemption, or emotional closure. Instead, the exit felt rushed, and the narrative impact, minimal. One wonders why the writers didn't attempt to build a more substantial arc around Lucky's return, especially given the character's deep legacy and the anticipation it generated among fans. Was this always meant to be temporary, or was there a shift behind the scenes that altered the trajectory? For now, the future remains uncertain. While Jackson's exit appears final for the moment, the door isn't entirely closed. As any soap fan knows, characters in General Hospital have a way of re-emerging when least expected, often in times of great narrative need. Perhaps one day, when the timing is right and the stars align, Jonathan Jackson may once again walk the streets of Port Charles. Until then, fans can only revisit old episodes, celebrate the legacy he built over decades, and hope that Lucky Spencer's story has not yet reached its final chapter. Despite the swirling storms of rumors, speculation, and divided opinions surrounding Jonathan Jackson's unexpected departure from General Hospital, there remains a steadfast and deeply loyal segment of the show's fanbase who have chosen to respond with understanding, respect, and genuine goodwill. These devoted viewers have rallied around Jonathan not with anger or disappointment, but with compassion and gratitude, recognizing that behind the public persona lies a human being navigating complex personal and professional crossroads. Through heartfelt messages shared on social media platforms, fan forums, and private conversations, many have expressed their earnest wishes that Jonathan finds peace, fulfillment, and clarity on whatever path he ultimately pursues. Whether that path keeps him far from the bustling soundstages of Port Charles or leads him toward new horizons beyond the familiar glare of daytime television. To these fans, Jonathan Jackson is far more than simply an actor who portrayed a character on a long-running soap opera. He embodies a living repository of collective memories, emotional milestones, and storytelling moments that have resonated profoundly over decades. His portrayal of Lucky Spencer wasn't just a role. It was a defining presence that shaped the emotional landscape of General Hospital for generations. Lucky's struggles, joys, heartbreaks, and redemption arcs became touchstones that connected viewers intimately to the narrative world, and Jonathan's performances infused the character with a raw humanity and vulnerability that felt authentic and enduring. Even though his latest return to the show did not unfold as many had hoped, falling short of delivering the powerful, layered storytelling or dramatic reinvention that longtime fans craved, it in no way diminished the lasting imprint of Lucky Spencer as a figure of emotional complexity and narrative significance. The character's history as a man torn by inner demons, familial ties, and romantic turmoil remains etched in the collective consciousness of the audience, a testament to Jonathan's nuanced craftsmanship and deep investment in the role. Yet, Jonathan's sudden exit also casts a spotlight on a critical and uncomfortable question for the creative minds behind General Hospital. How did a character as multidimensional and historically vital as Lucky Spencer return only to be relegated to the narrative sidelines without meaningful development or a cohesive story arc? The decision to reintroduce him without affording him a clear, substantial trajectory strikes many as a missed opportunity. One that failed to honor the character's legacy or satisfy the audience's emotional expectations. Instead of being a catalyst for revitalized drama or a linchpin in evolving storylines, Lucky's presence felt peripheral, as if his return was more symbolic than substantive. This dynamic is painfully underscored by the pivotal moment that ostensibly marked the climax of his brief comeback, Elizabeth Baldwin's rejection of Lucky's marriage proposal. While in other contexts such a scene might serve as a springboard for profound character exploration or transformative plot developments, here it paradoxically became the denouement, the closing note of Lucky's chapter rather than a prologue to a new one. The rejection did not ignite a fresh wave of storytelling possibilities, it instead sealed his fate as a character poised to exit once more, casting a shadow of finality over his storyline. The farewell sequences that followed reinforced this sense of abruptness and narrative incompletion. Lucky's understated, almost muted goodbyes to his mother, Laura Collins, his young son, Aidan, and his former love, Elizabeth, played out with a quiet melancholy that felt hauntingly reflective of his initial disappearance from Port Charles years ago. These scenes lacked the emotional resonance and closure that fans had long anticipated from such significant relationships. The absence of a grand, cathartic farewell left viewers with an aching void, a sense that Lucky's story was left suspended in limbo, yearning for the resolution and depth it deserved. More broadly, Jonathan Jackson's departure, and the handling of Lucky Spencer's return and exit, raises challenging questions about how legacy characters are woven into ongoing narratives within long-running soap operas. It illuminates the delicate balance writers and producers must strike between honoring cherished history and forging new creative directions. For many, Lucky Spencer is not merely a fictional character but a living part of the show's emotional DNA, a symbol of its enduring capacity to explore the complexities of family, love, and personal growth. To relegate such a character to the periphery or treat their return as a fleeting cameo risks alienating a devoted audience who have invested emotionally over years, even decades. Nevertheless, amidst the disappointment, the enduring affection for Jonathan Jackson and Lucky Spencer remains palpable. Fans continue to revisit and celebrate the character's storied past, cherishing the moments that made Lucky's journey so compelling. From his youthful innocence to his struggles with addiction, his fraught family dynamics, and his efforts to be a better man and father. These narratives continue to resonate, providing a rich legacy that outlasts any single actor's tenure or storyline arc. While the current chapter may have ended prematurely, there is always hope within the soap opera tradition that Lucky Spencer's story is not yet complete. Characters in General Hospital are famously known to return from absence when the timing is right, and when their stories demand continuation. Perhaps one day, when schedules align and creative visions coalesce, Jonathan Jackson will once again step into the role, rekindling the emotional fire and narrative significance that made Lucky Spencer a beloved figure for so many. Until then, fans hold on to memories, honor the legacy, and await the moment when Port Charles's streets will once again echo with the footsteps of one of its most unforgettable sons. While Jonathan Jackson's departure from General Hospital was not precipitated by behind-the-scenes creative conflicts or disputes within the production team, it undeniably represents a significant loss for both the devoted audience and the intricate, long-running narrative tapestry of the show. Jackson's portrayal of Lucky Spencer has been a cornerstone of General Hospital's emotional and dramatic depth for decades, and his absence leaves a palpable void. His character carried the weight of some of the series' most compelling storylines, ranging from harrowing personal struggles and fractured family dynamics to moments of heartfelt redemption and growth. Without his presence, the show temporarily loses not only a beloved figure but also a vital narrative thread that connects past, present, and future arcs, bridging generations of viewers and characters alike. Yet, despite the sorrow that naturally accompanies his exit, there remains a flicker of hope and possibility, a testament to the resilience and enduring nature of daytime drama storytelling. The doors to Port Charles, and by extension to Lucky Spencer's story, remain ajar rather than shut. In the world of soap operas, where comebacks, resurrections, and surprising returns are part and parcel of the genre's DNA, fans can reasonably anticipate that Lucky may one day re-emerge. Whether it be for a momentous occasion, a landmark anniversary of the show, a pivotal family event, or a special tribute episode, or simply as a narrative touchstone to remind viewers of the rich legacy of the Spencer family, his return would undoubtedly be met with excitement and affection. For longtime viewers, Lucky Spencer is more than a character, he is a symbol of the show's capacity to tackle complex human emotions with nuance and sincerity. His journey has resonated across generations, and as such, his presence holds significant emotional currency. This means that whenever he does return, it won't just be a cameo or a brief appearance, it has the potential to be a deeply meaningful event that honors his history while opening new avenues for storytelling. Moreover, Jonathan Jackson himself remains closely associated with this role, and his willingness to return, even periodically, would be a cherished gift to the fans who have supported him and the character over the years. In the interim, the responsibility falls on the audience to cherish and preserve the memories and the impact Lucky Spencer has had on their lives and on the show. It is an invitation to hold on to the emotions and the narratives that defined his character. The pain, the resilience, the love, and the redemption. These elements form the backbone of his legacy and the emotional heart of General Hospital. Through reruns, fan discussions, and personal reflection, viewers keep the spirit of Lucky alive, nurturing the hope that someday, the familiar face and complex soul of Lucky Spencer will once again grace the screen. Until that day arrives, the collective sentiment among the fan community is one of patient optimism. A recognition that in the ever-evolving world of soap operas, departures often pave the way for future returns. The narrative arcs that seem to close may simply be pauses in an ongoing story yet to be fully told. As they wait, fans hold fast to their affection and respect, confident that both Lucky Spencer and Jonathan Jackson will one day find their way back home to Port Charles, ready to embark on new chapters in a saga that continues to captivate and inspire. In the ever-changing landscape of General Hospital, where characters come and go but their stories and legacies endure, Jonathan Jackson's departure marks both an ending and a hopeful pause. While his absence leaves a bittersweet void, it also serves as a reminder of the deep connections forged between actors, characters, and the audience over years of storytelling. Lucky Spencer's journey is far from over, it lives on in the hearts of fans and in the rich narrative fabric of the show. As viewers await the possibility of his return, they do so with a blend of nostalgia, respect, and anticipation, trusting that when the time is right, Lucky and Jonathan Jackson will once again step back into the light of Port Charles, continuing a legacy that has touched so many lives. Until then, the story remains alive in memory and hope, a testament to the enduring power of great storytelling and the timeless bond between a character and his fans.